I remember when I was in my teens, I think I was 16 at the time, I had this very odd feeling that death was walking right beside me, it was right there and present. And that made me very interested in the subject of death and dying. I was really curious. So this is how my journey started in this whole area and field of death and dying. And I became interested then in hospice, learned about hospice in my 20s after my university degree. And hospice at the time was still in its infancy stages. And the first person I ever sat with was a young man, the very same age I was at the time, dying of cancer. And I remember I felt really frightened and scared because I didn't know what to say or what to do. And it felt so unfair. His whole life was being taken from him, and he was filled with anger and rage. At the same time, you could really feel his soft heart, or there was tenderness underneath this rage and anger. And I just sat with him. I was terrified, but I just sat with him and listened to him as silently, because I knew whatever I say, I cannot make it better. And so that was I think if I look back now, so many years later, this was one of the most heartbreaking and difficult experience being present for somebody, because we expect, in our society, we expect death to happen as at the end of a very long, well-lived life, isn't it? So here was a young man, dying of cancer, terminal cancer, the injustice of it, and then his family and his girlfriend. It was just heartbreaking. At the same time, around that same time, I was reading the Tibetan book of Living and Dying. You may have heard about it, a groundbreaking book, and still a groundbreaking book, offering the Tibetan Buddhist view on death and dying, and life and living. Because what we also, when we start leaning into the topic of death, inviting death more into our lives, that we acknowledge its presence, that we are all mortal beings, we will actually discover, or can discover, that it doesn't have to be frightening. We don't have to sit there at the bedside or be with a person empty-handed. And that was it still is such a great gift, that death is about life and the way we are living. So even though this encounter was very difficult and painful, it didn't scare me off. I was saying, I need more tools, I need more skills. So it really was a catalyst in a way to learn more about meditation, about mindfulness, and also the capacity to open my heart in situations that are painful, and how to stay open to them and not run away. Because our natural response, isn't it? We want to run away because it's uncomfortable. And the Buddhist meditation practice, what I've learned in my own spiritual practice, it's about staying present in the most painful situation, recognizing that they're temporary. All these feelings are also temporary. And to know, to get to know a part of myself, of ourselves, that's so much bigger than these emotions, than the anger or rage or pain, despair. And there's a part of us that's not involved. That's clear, spacious, and open, and getting to know that part.